intuitive reading, and expanding your being. So let the universe guide your journey, and let's get started. Hey everybody, Tony the Lightworker here. So today we're doing something super, super special. This is a long, long time coming. This is my brother, JFK Ether. He has so much knowledge and I wanted to share him with you. So that's very special because we are like super, super close. People say that we look like twins. So we just, when people ask us, say yes, but we're like 9 months apart, 9, 10, not, you know, a little bit over there.
Who's counting?
Okay.
But the count.
But the count.
One.
So,
2.
Okay. So, today I'm not doing intuitive readings or oracle readings or mediumship. So I know a lot of people that log on to my live, you want to hear a little bit of that. But today we have something that is just a little different take on the Lightworker page. So I hope you guys enjoy, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So we're gonna get right into it. So you get to experience some of the conversations that we have. Our conversations get super, super deep.
Yeah.
Super, super deep. And
yeah.
I'm just really excited to have JFK Ether here, my brother, my twin. I'm sharing him with you guys, like I said before. So be on the lookout. I'll post information about my podcast that'll be coming out. Really excited. And you can follow me on Instagram at Tony the Lightworker. Follow. And then you can also like, subscribe, or comment, you know, if you've had a reading or want a reading on this page, you can book an appointment with me. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you if I've never seen you before or talked to you before. I love helping people. I love lifting people's energy up because I believe you need energy healing, spiritual healing, emotional healing as much as you do physical. So, but okay. Do you wanna plug anything before we get started? Like your music, because your music is amazing.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Like what do you do before we get started? Before we get started in this deep conversation, like can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay.
Brother, twin.
I'm an artiste, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I write, I got music, I research.
He does a lot of research. Like, how many years have you been researching some of the things that we've been talking about? Like years.
Ooh, I probably really started like maybe 2004. So if you're talking sovereignty, you talk Christianity, you talking Islam, you talking metaphysics, regular physics. You talking
about just being woke?
Yeah. We've been conscience. We're not conscious. Like conscious is just being awake, but conscience is saying we logical to judge right or wrong off knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And like I was telling my son the other day, you need to learn the knowledge because the knowledge has to have an understanding and an overstanding. Because when you say you understand it, you put something under you. So, or you putting something over you, so you're under it, but you want to overstand, and that brings wisdom, right? So I broke it down to him and I said, you know, it's kind of like crossing the street. You know to cross the street to stop because the knowledge is there, to stop because the cars are coming. But the understanding or the overstanding is you want to hold your brother's hand or just stop yourself, you know, and know that the car is coming across the street. Yeah. And that brings wisdom. So you know before you even get there, I got to hold my brother's hand, my sister's hand. I got to stop. I got to look both ways.
Awareness.
And that's different from being awake, right? Because you could be awake but still not be aware of your environment.
Come on, y'all.
So you can say you're conscious, but conscious just means I'm awake. You know, so you know, just the conscious community, conscious movement, all that's watered down. You know, it's all about you know, showmanship. It ain't nothing no different than what they went through the Black Panthers. It ain't nothing that, major movements go through. They go through the superficialism, the show, but this ether, right? We give you ether, we give you light work, and I ain't mean that light work. I mean light work, but light because you got to be light to sin. See, hope y'all catch that.
Yeah. And if you didn't catch it, you can go back and rewind and you can listen to it again.
Right.
But before you even do that, make sure if you were listening that you like the page,
Yeah, like
and then comment. I can't like. I can't see your comments right now because we're going through Zoom and I'm going that way and broadcasting on Facebook that way. So I'm so sorry, but if you're here, I feel you. We love you, and we're gonna get into this conversation right now. So one of the first conversations that we had when I experienced my awakening and my awareness was what light and dark means. So we both grew up in a Christian foundation. And I know you've had kind of like a shift, a change, and expansion.
Great word.
Thanks, bro.
Great word.
An expansion. Years before I did. I think I came into my expansion not even by choice. I moved to a different town and church was probably almost like an hour away, and I was just so exhausted and couldn't go. And I was like heavily into Christianity, non-denomination. I mean, for years of my life, that's all I knew. But the universe. And I say universe and God interchangeably. So to me, they mean the same thing. That's my expansion.
That's right.
So the universe had opened up for the opportunity for me to learn more. And a lot of the questions that I had as a kid that didn't make sense to me, maybe about the Bible or just about right or wrong or, some of the things that I was learning. And this is not bashing anything because I love my foundation. Sure. I grew up and I still use my scripture. I still talk about Archangel Michael, my angels and things like that. It's just I have an expansion of that. So saying that to say, I was put in a place where I had to expand. I had no choice because I couldn't travel to church. And then all of these feelings started to come up because I was asking myself so many questions about like, wait a minute, well, and this is, again, no judgment. This is just real. I'm just speaking about my experience. Like, why is God killing people, in the Bible? Why are we okay with that? Why do we, and these are just questions. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are going through this shift because it's in the age of Aquarius right now. So everybody's like hitting that, a lot of that, on those questions. And some of the other question was like, I have these abilities. I'm intuitive, right? So I can, I'm a healer. I believe I'm a healer. That's what I was called to do in many forms. So when I touch people and I can pray over them, I can heal that way. I can manifest and help people. I can get intuitive readings from ancestors and archangels and all these different things. And that's what I decided to do. But for a long time, I felt the only way to do it was through Christianity, and wasn't able to really expand upon it because of that, what I felt like was a limitation. Because I felt like anything else would be considered witchcraft, it would be considered wrong. But then I asked questions like, wait a minute, my ancestors passed these abilities down to me. So why do I feel like these abilities that I have are wrong when my grandfather has told me about things that he's experienced, my great grandmother experienced, and why are people closing that part of them off because they feel afraid? Why do we even feel afraid? So all of these questions came out of stepping away from Christianity. And like I said, there's parts of me that use certain elements, because there's lessons and everything. And I believe that if it's, you can see it in the Bible, you can picture it, but it's said differently in science. And you talk about it and it says something the same, but it explains it different in ether and astrology and the stars. It's the same mission. It's still light work. It's still the same. I just decided like, hey, I'm going to expand and think about the world in all of these different perspectives. So going back to the actual question I wanted to ask, my question to you is, when we think about things that are within us that are passed down through our ancestors, like how we think about darkness and how we think about light and what that means. What does the TV tell us that means? What does the church tell us that means? What do just living here in America we think that means? And what's the difference in that and we learned that way versus ancient ways, right? Getting back in touch with actually who we are as a human race. So I just wanted to dialogue with you about darkness and light, and maybe just waking some people up a little, or bringing some awareness, or maybe getting to a place where people can ask more questions and investigate themselves and go read themselves about what it actually means versus what the world tells us it means.
Right. So. And questions is where it starts. Because questions is actual quest, right? Because you're trying to go on a mission, and you always want to be in journey mode, And the thing about being a journey, you mean you on a mission, and every day is a mission, right? So when you on a mission, you got to know, like, you can be awake but not aware, like we were saying. So we get into, again, conscience. This is an ancient meaning, and until you get into etymology, right, you won't really understand light and darkness. Until you get into etymology, you really won't understand language from original aspect, right? Because we only been reading for 150 years as people, and we've only been allowed to read, or something happened to you, death, slavery, all that was synonymous. Slavery was death, and we still slaves because we're not free through the amendment, and Dred Scott case, right? So light and darkness, even darkness in legalese or legalities or law, means civil martus, right? Martus or mortar. You hear that, right? Mortar, that means you're dead. So you could be civilly dead, right? Because you're black. You're saying that I'm black, right? Because, all these terms has been made through religions and other institutions to block us out, to make us seem like there's a difference between white and black, but they're really not, right? And
to divide
right.
our people.
Right, because that's the word of division, right? Because if you got a divide in the vision, that's your division, right? So all of these aspects of what's light and what's dark has been here to program us, right? So
like the Matrix.
It is the Matrix.
It is the Matrix. That movie is real.
Yeah, because we only, this world is 3D, so we actually have to bring light to some darkness, or we have to bring light to crystallize other people's reality, right? Because we melanated. It's only through the dark where you get the substance and the potency to manifest. You can't manifest nothing through light energy, right? It got to be dark first. So you get what we call electromagnetic activity, right? But to turn the light on, first it had to be dark in the room.
That's right.
Right? So anything that is dark, any dark seed, dark soil, right? The darkness in the sky, right? And then you see the light flickering. But everything is surrounded in darkness, right? So even when you say thinking, right? When you concentrate hard, now notice we're saying concentrate, C-O-N. Remember I said conscience, right? Concentrate, right? It talked about in the garden, I don't want to get too far in, but it talked about in the garden how C-U-N-N, cunning, right, was the serpent. But the serpent was in there at the tree of knowledge of good and evil with Adam and Eve, right? So, man, a talking serpent, but he's wise.
Right.
So even Jesus say, be wise as serpents, right? So, right, we now with misnomers and nuances right? In slang, we say the snake or a serpent is something bad. Cut your grass because we got to watch snakes. Snakes is people. We got to watch out for snakes, right?
Yeah.
That ain't how it was in the ancient world. In the ancient world, the snake energy was the divine feminine energy or kundalini energy or even energy of the dragon, which we really talking about energy of darkness that you raising up to bring on the light, right? Yeah. But you got to have the darkness first. You know what I mean? And so when I'm saying contemplate, right, or concentrate, you got to close your eyes, right? And you got to gain the wisdom.
And that's what you do. You do that in meditation, right? Yeah. So now we're talking about not necessarily a religion, but we're talking about spirituality. Right. You close your eyes to meditate and to be able to elevate, right? Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say is when you talk about seeds and soil, it's really, the earth being around us is so important. That's why it's so important to stay in tune with earth, because the earth tells us how we should live. Like the answers are in nature, right? So you're talking about you need darkness, right? For successful soil to grow crops so
now
if we're talking
to grow thought.
And to grow thought, you need it to grow thought. And now we're talking about as a race, when we're talking about division, you need dark to get light, right? So I think it's a reflection in our life and what we physically see here in the 3D world. And it also helps us expand our thinking. If we think about how does this apply to nature? How does this apply to, you want to call it yoga? How does this apply to meditation? How does this apply to, how can we just relate everything, right, to how we live? So that's really important. So you want the answers. It's about thinking about nature in that way.
Yeah, and applying it back into self, like going back into contemplating and thinking and meditating. And
for clarity, you need meditation for clarity. You don't need someone else telling you really like what you should do, and I am that person because I am an intuitive reader and I'm a light worker, so I'm here to help. But also we need to, it's important, I don't want to say need to, but it's important that we do the work ourselves. And I know at one point I was programmed to think that meditation, yoga, no, like wouldn't touch it because like I was told that it was wrong, but I had to, again, come outside of what I knew and read and be active about seeking that knowledge and meditate to get clarity on what was true. Yeah. And again, those are if anything is working to elevate your spirit or to lift you, to bring you from darkness to light, or, not in a bad way, just more awareness and your awakening. Yeah. It doesn't matter how it's done as long as you're elevating yourself. If you're elevating yourself, you're elevating the earth because you're pouring back into the earth. So I have, let's see, I want to ask, how is darkness and light looked at when we look at movies, when we talk about
I love movies.
you love movies? I think we like I know this. I said it like I never met him before. I'm like, you love movies? Yeah. So do I. It's such an official. Yeah. But another area for me that I had to reprogram my brain was movies. This is why people are afraid of their abilities, because when they see like movies like The Exorcist or they see The Conjuring, I've never seen that one. And I believe that if you are strongly intuitive, sometimes you shut that stuff off. I think at some point, if we're all not, there, we do shut it off because we're like, I don't want to deal with that. And you have that power. By the way, you are always in control. You are the I am. God is within you. The universe is within you. So you have that control. But that's not what I'm saying right now. I'm saying it, but that's not the focus. What I'm saying is we watch these movies, right? Yeah. Starting with Freddy. I used to have dreams about Freddy and Jason, but I also had dreams that I was like playing pool with them. That's probably not good, but I think it was me reprogramming my brain. Like, no, I'm not afraid.
You know what that is called? That's called automatopoeia in your dreams. Remember automatopoeia when you used to have you used to be playing with your dog? I'd be in a room playing with my G.
Yeah.
And I'd be flying.
You're imaginative. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
That's great.
You're made in the image of God, and your imagination is when you close, right?
Yeah.
So what it is fear. Fear is one of the one things that shuts down your body.
Which you get from watching movies like that. If you're not, if you watch those movies and you're not aware or awakened to your like how powerful you are, and you haven't activated that power, that is still kind of sleeping or lying dormant, or you put it to sleep at some point when you came into this world, or somebody did, you feel like that was your like protection mode. If you have, you know, I don't know. I just lost my thought. I'm sorry, guys. But I was just saying, like, if you put like that part of you to sleep, and you're not aware of your strength, then the fear can take over. Right. So you can you just allow. What did I hear? Now that every time you heard something in the house, you're like, what was that? Oh, somebody to give me. It's The Purge, you know. I've mentioned The Purge twice. I just probably need to watch the movie. That's how I feel in the world right now. It's like The Purge. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. But you know, you watch these movies, and then if we're not protective of our space, it gets in and creates thoughts and birth thoughts. Your thoughts are your existence, your power, your strength. It's everything about you. So if you're like, I heard something. Okay, well, whatever you birth is going to come true. What you think about yourself, what you want. If you're that's why they call it manifestation. Is no different from prayer. If you're praying, you know, it's no different. So when we watch movies like with voodoo, when we watch movies, we are programmed to say, oh, you know, this is wrong. This is not right. Or not understanding the true actual meaning of voodoo, just taking on like, oh no, as this religious belief, or as this, something's telling you that it's wrong. But how have you connected with ancient history to know the truth? That is something that I had to smack myself awake about as well. So we're talking about fear in movies, why that occurs when you're talking about dark and light, the programming of it, and like what actually like voodoo and things like that, when we talk about intuitive gifts, but we don't relate them to maybe religion, but they're intuitive gifts, giving light to people on the earth. What's the difference between all that and like how we see it, how we were told to see it, and what the actual truth is? That's what I want to say. I got to my point, guys. I got to the point.
I said all that to say this, right? That's great. Though. All that's good information. You know, it's all good information. And to be honest, like in Africa or in the ancient times, where our indigenous people, we never used surgery. Like we never just like went to try to cut people open and then just try to like, okay, and let's give them these drugs and all that. What we did was we gave herbs, ailments. You know, we grounded. We stayed with our feet off. We stayed by the water.
Feet on the grass. Water. Feet on the grass.
Super
people.
Important.
On the earth.
Super important. We didn't eat all the meat, right? Because a lot of people think World War III is going to be China versus America, or America versus all the fundamentalists, right? The Islamicists, the ISIS, you know, all the groups, you know, that I don't want to get into all that, but
for next time, people.
World War III is going on in your blood.
In your blood, in your body, right? In your mind.
And they GMO in your blood by the GMO food, you know? And it's crazy because like we wonder why we ain't producing thinkers, right? If you go on my page, JFK or Ether, it's free thinker society. We think outside the box. You know what I mean? I ain't another person algorithm, you know, and I ain't another person Markov model. When you get in stuff like this, these are predictive propaganda. Predictive propaganda models or set up for you to see or for them to see how you react to situations.
And then they set it up to trigger those responses and set more of the same. So it's what we also call the filter bubble, right? Like if you respond to something or you look something up and you're like, why is this showing up as an ad?
Yeah.
They own that. They know, own it, right? It's getting deep. Yeah, we know you see us.
So with the movies, you know, you gotta understand who do the movies. The same people that do the movies do the music, right?
They do everything.
They do everything. You know, and the deepest part about all that is we have to actually capitalize and crystallize realities for people, because the melanin is the most manifested element of the planet, right? And you got to do that through all planets. You know, melanin and carbon is in all planets. You know, it's the original organism, right? And the organism, ORG, is your ORG to log on, right? .org. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right? Your organism comes from your organs. And your organs have...
Come on now. Everything is connected. Like I said, everything is connected.
And your organs is what you talk about when something's organic, right? So now you got to have meat. You got to have plants or everything has to be organic. But what is they saying when they saying organic? They're not really saying it's necessarily healthy. They just saying it has a trace of carbon. So that's another misnomer, right? Or a nuance that we just saying, oh, everybody's just trying to eat organic.
Eat organic.
But you know what organic is.
Yeah.
You know? So
that's true.
But
I'm judging myself.
Yeah, right. I'm judging me too.
I've been through that. We're not judging you. No, we're all elevating together.
Yeah, we all doing that.
So with this conditioned mindset, and we start thinking about things that these people in power, right?
Well, let's tell them how. So fear, right? They need fear because fear
mongering.
Yeah, fear keeps you slave. Fear can kill you, right? Fear kills. But what is fear a slave to, right? Fear is a slave to somebody that said it's nothing, right? I have no fear. And that's why they say, fear God, right? But we saying, we know God as image. We know God as thought. Within. So you could play the games when we can go there. Like you want to play games with Islam, okay? You want to say Allah, right? Or you want to say you want to go and say Elohim, right? Because some of them say, no, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. We say Yahweh, right? Man, you read it in because I read in language, right? So if I'm reading Islam, I'm reading in Arabic. Right? If I'm reading if I'm reading the Torah, right, I'm reading in Hebrew, right? So that's the Old Testament, like the first 5 books of the Old Testament. So when you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, you gotta know what you're reading. You're reading the Torah, right? What's the Torah? And all these systems have a background to them or deeper inner understanding of them, because everything that you're doing out here on earth, you can't have things that's manifesting on earth that ain't manifested from above first. So how you got gold, how you got diamonds, how you got silver, you find all of these in dark places, right? Or
there we go again. Dark places. Dark places.
So all of that is
You're learning something today.
Say that. All of that got to deal with programming. Right? Because if you're talking about Elohim, it's E-L. You're talking about Allah, that's A-L. But for them, it's interchangeable because they all go back to one person. That's Abraham. But Abraham, he was a Chaldean from the land of Earth, right? But his dad's name was Eber, or where you get the word Ibri, right? And these people, the Ibri people, was a nomadic people, right? Just like the Arabic people. The Arabic people was birthed off through Abraham through Africa. Lady named Hagar, right? So now let's just spin it, right? And all major institutions of theology and philosophy, everybody goes back to the dark. Even Jesus went to Africa. You got to get what I'm saying. Even Moses went to Africa.
But how do you? The first, first verse of the Bible, right? Where we talk about. And then there was light. Yeah. Right? Maybe not the first verse. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, it's crazy because it says in the beginning. And what does that mean in Hebrew? Hebrew, it means Bereshit. Bereshit, right? So you.
In the beginning.
Right. So automatically, it's already, the darkness is there. Even when you read it, it says in the beginning, there was void and darkness, and the spirit hovered over the waters. Now you could think that as literal, right? or we can get it to metaphysical, which is I seen one person say, "Oh, I don't get into metaphysical stuff." Well, how do you know the wind blowing?
Right.
You can't see the wind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and people believe in things that they don't see all the time.
Right. So because it's a spiritual world first. Like I said, stuff got to fall down from stuff you can't see. Like you don't know gold up there. You don't know diamonds. You know, but it's going to drop down to the earth. So that's the same thing with spirit, because spirit spirals. I said this on shout out to Heart to Hearts.
Heart to Hearts. That's our uncle. Uncle Nate, we love you.
Just went national too. Respect.
Just went national. So we're like giving a second. Thank you for doing that. We love you. We're plugging our uncle. Right. We call him Uncle Nate, but you know him as Nate Frazier. His show, Heart to Hearts. He's been working so hard at this show. And this is, I mean, you're seeing a lot of like where it's people are watching a show and the success. He worked so hard for that show, and he went through so much. So we know what you went through behind the scenes, but you stood resilient and strong and tall and faithful. And now you put that out there, and that's what you're getting back. So we're so proud of you. Our uncle, Nate Frazier.
Yeah.
Okay, going back, we're focused. It's fine.
So if you watching things that's fearful, or if they got you panicking in a pandemic, right? You see the play on words, the panic in a pandemic. They know what they're doing. Because what they're doing is they actually, everything is chemical. Everything is all chemical. And like I said, as above, so below. So as the spirit working through you, right? As far as like melatonin. A lot of people taking melatonin pills now. Yeah. Right? Just to put the kids to sleep. They don't even know
or put themselves to sleep. I think some people are actually taking Benadryl.
And it's sad because if you look at the science on that, a lady exposed that a long time ago, and she said they was taking pineal glands.
Wow.
Right? But who can they take the pineal glands from? Right? Right? They got to take it from the blackest and the richest. Right? But this ain't no diss, like to tell y'all like there's a division between black and white, because I told you you can't have
one without the
white
other.
You can't have white without black, period. But you can have black without white. So you got to get that. The black manifests the white, right? So
can we go back to the fear part of it when we're talking about, and then because I want to touch on that too. I want to talk about.
Because we still there, really, right?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna. I just want to.
Because, like I said, fear is a slave to nothingness.
Right.
Like
there you go.
Right, and nothingness is all darkness. Right. It's what birthed everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's the world was formed, darkness, spirit hovered over the waters, and it was void. Right. So that's just thought. That's spirit, water. Right, that's spirit. That's all your four elements, right? With the 5/5 element, right? All in one, right?
And can I just say too? And the elements are associated with planets. They're associated with like behavior, your chakras. Again, we're thinking about how so many things and so many different beliefs and systems are connected to us in the way that we live every single day.
Right.
Emotional needs, spiritual needs, and physical needs.
Right.
Our existence.
Right. So all the creation stories start with a flood, right? So in Africa, the darkness was noon. And that birthed the light, brought out the light, right? It brought out a pep, right? And you can get into the cosmologies in all sciences, and all sciences start with a feminine energy or a water-like energy starting off, and then there was light, or then there was manifestation. But the manifestation is the matrix. And see, the manifestation in the matrix that we got right now is ruled by the what we call archetypes, but only archetypes is arc thoughts. So the thing about arc thoughts, remember, when you used to close your eyes and boom, you get that thought, it's a light bulb. You know, they always do that because that's the light, right?
That picture of like, so if it's a cartoon and you get an idea, or they use the light bulb as the aha idea, like the light goes on, that's,
Right, because the darkness or noon produces the light, right? Through the carbon, The carbon that's inside, it actually capsulized, crystallized, and boom, you had the light. And what we're really talking about is levels, right? Because it's really energy falling down. It's not really energy going up. You got to reverse it to have the energy to go back up. Okay. But this is what they talking about the fall of man. But what are they talking about? You know what I mean? Man fell into sin or born into sin. Well, what is sin, right? Well, to us, sin is the sine wave. The sine wave is going through each season, and there's four seasons, right? Because there's four main elements. Anytime you're dealing with earth, you're dealing with east, west, north, and south, right? So this is what they can control through a cube of space, because north, west, south is a plus, and if you outline that plus, that's a cube, right? So everything is numbers through numerology, because you got square roots and you got square or a numbers cube, right? Okay. But you also got a cube of space in your mind and what you think. And if I allow you to get space, or you put fear into my space, now alchemically through serotonin and through dopamine, I can all my energy that's in my body or through all my chakras, is because all your 7 chakras is 7 seals. Yeah. Right. And these seals is actually the birthplaces or the not the birthplaces. It's actually the circle of the seats of your soul. Okay. Ooh, that's a good one for me. That's a good one for me. And like because that. It's ultimately, you got to understand, heaven isn't here. Hell is in here. Right? And whatever you imagine, or your imagination, whatever you imagine have a great imagination. It all depends on your environment. And it all depends on what you put in your environment. Ooh, can I jump in here? Because you told me something that was so profound, and I still tell people about this to this day. So I love this little analogy because it really expands people's minds. So we were having a conversation about dark and light, and you were telling me that when you went beyond your journey of Christianity, and how you thought about what was evil, right? Like you were going beyond and expanding your knowledge about like demons, darkness. And you were like, when you really started to research, because the power in the thought. It's a demon. Yeah. Right. So right. So you stopped. You were saying that once you went beyond and expand that, you didn't have nightmares about demons anymore. No like more. You didn't have, because it's about your thought process and what you believe. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's how powerful, right? That we are programmed to, like, we're like, that's evil, or this is evil, or this is like, whatever. Like, it's literally what you think is in existence. And we have so much power, right, within us that sometimes I think we don't know it. We're not awakened or aware to that we have that power. It's like, that does not exist. Yeah. That is not a thing. I mean, if people can do it. And then you've been, like you said, you've only been reading for 150 years. So we're a little behind. So people, anybody who not understanding and want to judge, I welcome all criticism. I welcome all judgments. I recommend all questions, because your questions is a quest. I recommend it all. Scrooby, go ahead, right? Because we all need the best of both worlds, right? But at the end of the day, you ain't no way you could show me that any of these religions or any of these realignments ain't aligned a whole false reality. And not to say they not real in that sense, because it's a metaphysical side to everything. To the Bible. It's a science side to the Bible. Right. It's a science side to Islam. It's a science side to Hinduism, Buddhism. And it's all about finding the one within itself that connects to the universe, right? But the universe is united and in a verse, just like your body. Your body go verse itself all the time, right? But it still unites as one. Right. So what you got to do is, like, you got to know how to train each body not to fight each other. Because if you're not eating right, then one thing will take from this thing. It's blocked. You get blocked in those different. What did you call them? The chakras, the seal, did you say the seal? They the seal. The seal. So you like that gets the soul. Yeah. Right. So you need, we talk about,
I know I struggle with eating. Like my journey in eating has been a progression my whole life. And that's why I never call eating a diet, because like I am always, it's always a journey for me, and I'm always elevating myself. And I never picture myself, oh man, I went backwards. I don't think that's a thing. Once you know the knowledge and the knowledge is there, you're right there until you go to the next level. That's how I think about it.
And it's a living. It's not a diet.
It's a living. It's like what you do.
Live. And like, just look at it as dinosaurs, right? The dinosaurs, the ones who ate meat, right? They craved everything, right? They craved everything that's blood. They was cannibalistic, right? They was candida, right? But the ones who ate leaves and ate herbs and they ate the grass, right? The dinosaurs was calm and they was living in harmony, right? So you got to understand, the more meat, like we be cooking the meat and we be thinking the blood is gone, the blood is still there. Some people like they steak medium rare. They still on, a beef diet. But all these diet or all these meats, right? These is really sacrifices. I'm gonna keep it thorough with y'all. Right? We don't know how much.
There's no difference than when, back when that was like a thing more, I don't say more popular or more common for people to do. It's just that we are not doing that active, right? Not everybody's doing that active killing part of it, but it's still a sacrifice. It's going into your body and it becomes a part of you, right? And also, and we're talking about different dimensions of understanding and expanding. When however that animal was killed, and this is for all of us, me too. However that
produce toxins.
So that journey goes into your body, right? So what you
think fear is? It's producing toxins in your body.
Saying.
Because soon as
think about it.
Yeah, as soon as you like feeling like fear, what your body, like I said, it's alchemical. So if they give you these fear through propaganda, through movies, through pandemics, through a lot of these mediums of exchange, or even a fear of like you not being great, a fear that you're gonna be broke all your life, like you're gonna be in poverty,
or you're gonna be a failure, and all of these things.
Yeah, all that fear produces toxins. It's called fight or flight, and if you don't know how to naturally deal with all this energy, it gets stuck in your chakras. Right? And these chakras, they call them neural pathways that get hardened. When neural pathways get hardened, you can no longer think outside the box. You are in the box. Right?
So, did y'all hear that? He's going to repeat it because that was amazing. Can you repeat that, bro?
Yeah, they got neural pathways. So neural pathways harden. And when they harden, you can no longer think outside the box. You are stuck in the box.
In the box. Right? You are stuck. And that's why they say, like, when you're shot. Yes.
Jack and Jill jump over the hill.
And that's
what are they talking about?
I'm sorry, I don't want to talk over you. I'm sorry. We're both getting really excited. We do this. We love each other. It's all respect. We get really excited. But when your chakras are blocked, you don't have that gateway and that access, right? To your spirituality, to your expansion. So and that can happen with the food, that can happen with the fear and what is instilled. So we need to be careful with like what we expose ourselves to and we don't have knowledge of it, right? And not to follow. I'm very like, I don't want to follow the grain. If everybody else is doing it, I fight against that because I want to not follow into like.
Like people say like, no negative vibes here, right? That's a nuance. Like you following a trend. You following some person that's following another person that's following another person. And I was guilty of this, like, with social media.
We all are.
I was just, like in awe and just doing like freely. But then I had to come to my awareness, right? I'm not about to be giving myself freely to something that's not giving itself to me. Listen, on Facebook, there's
that's true.
There's like over maybe 200 billion users.
A lot.
So how many of them are us, right? Melanation, right? Melanated people or the Kim people or, the Moor, right? Which we just talking about skin, right? How many of them is working in Facebook, right? 9%.
Yeah.
Right? So all these social media platforms, they need us to
stay busy.
To make their reality real.
Yeah.
Your reality, listen, I could say that the sky is green, right? And really believe it, right? Because that's real to me, right? But just because you mean it's real, I mean just because it's real, don't mean that it's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Right.
Right? Because you can have facts, but facts and knowledge, wisdom, understanding is two different things. Right? You getting facts when you go to school and you getting that degree, you getting that master's degree, and you getting that bachelor's degree. You getting just educated, right? But you don't have the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of even the information that you learn. You learn it. That's why you graduate with the cube. There go the cube again, right? You get this.
You get your hat, your cap, and your gown.
Right? That's the
cube
hat, right?
Hat?
From Africa, right? It means ascension. Like you ascended higher. Like you then That's why you see even the Islam people with the kufis, right? That come from Ptah, right? Ptah wore that, and even anybody who knows about the ancient people, their heads was cone head. That's why if you watch the movie Cone Head,
that was the movie.
From outer space, right?
Yes,
right?
Yes. Oh my God, that was the movie too.
Yeah,
that's real.
Right? All that. All that.
I'm sorry, that was like the best. I don't know why I was.
But it's obsessed. A cube and it's black.
Yeah.
Right. So now we get into El and Saturn and Saturday and Sabbath day and
all these things.
These nuances that they controlling and programming the world with. And like I said, fear produced toxins. This is now alchemically they messing with your blood and they messing with your body. Remember, World War III, it started in the blood. It's been going down in the blood. Yeah, and the New World Order, y'all looking for some money. Y'all looking for a chip in it and 666 and all that. No, the New World Order is going on in your mind. They didn't already capture your mind.
Do you get tired of people saying that? The end of the world?
The end of the world, because like
I'm like, they've been saying that since Noah stepped off of the ark.
Listen,
just saying.
The world,
I'm not judging.
The world is your words. Words is worlds, and worlds are predicated on worlds, right? Because spirit spins, right? And this is how you know that something has spirit in it, because it spirals. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So if you get into anything that's scientific, you know that atoms move. DNA. This is friction coming together. DNA spirals. DNA spirals, right?
Connects everything, people.
Connects everything. Even when you look into 2D or 1D, like through a microscope, I look at your atoms all moving. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So movement and spiral is all spirit, right? That's why they say the manifestation coming through the Elohim. Yeah. But the Elohim manifestation is a female, it's female, it's Shekinah, right? And you get into the other divine feminine aspects, right? It's all female energy first, right? But this female energy, it comes through the torso, right? The hips, right? You give birth. So when you talk about ancient Egypt, we had a thing where remember I was talking earlier about Apep and Shekmet, or I was talking about Apep and Noon. Okay. But you got the energy from that was predicated by the hippo in ancient Africa, because we talking about the hypothalamus gland, right? You got these major glands in your body coming from the Kundalini energy on the bottom, and you got to raise it up all the way to the top, right? So but it's still in the darkness where you're gonna find a light. Yeah. Right. That's why.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say, you were talking about raising darkness to light. You also have to be ready for that too, right? Because you will get triggered. There's things that are going to come up. It's like, I'm saying it again, it's like the purge.
This is what meditation is for. This is what eating right is for. Yeah. Like all these things going on. You can't just be thinking that you taking a little sea moss, right? Or you taking a little you're doing like a couple pills and then like that's all. It has to be everything. You gotta be universal, because everything is universal. All is mind and everything in the universe is mental.
Because you can still eat healthy and then your chakras still be blocked. Yeah. Right? Or you can just do like exercise and your chakras still be blocked, right? But there's also different areas that need to be addressed with the chakras, right? Your root chakra. Are you grounded? Are you putting your feet on the earth, in the grass? Right. No. Like we were told when we were little, don't you do that. You do that, you're going to die. Like you're going to get like a foot disease. Like don't.
But to get light, you got to be light. Yeah.
Right?
And you can only be light again if you give light. right? So this is what electrons do to you. Remember, I was trying to tell you, everybody want to say they don't want no negative vibes. I want all negative energy. Everything that's negative is electrons.
Yeah.
See, they got y'all fooled. Y'all just speaking stuff because somebody else speaking, right? But you got melanocytes. Your melanocytes, when you got the U melanin, right? U, right?
Yeah.
Because it's different other type of melanin. But when you got U melanin got melanocytes. Melanocytes produce melanosomes. These melanosomes produce tyrosine. Tyrosine is what gives you the manifestation of an atom to come through and give you energy and give you life. This is what actually produces the carbon in your body, right? And the energy in your body.
Hey, thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow me on Insta and Facebook at Tony the Lightworker, where you can receive live readings, products, and more. I hope to see you next time on the Starseed podcast.